Hey everybody, welcome back to When Creatives Thrive, a Create Baltimore podcast. I'm Stuart Rustin, and before we get going, remember to like, comment, and subscribe where and when you can. It really helps us to keep telling creative stories. On this episode, we feature Boob Sweat, a Baltimore-based woman-led film collective. Formed while in graduate school at the Maryland Institute College of Art, Boob Sweat has come to signify the empowerment the founders still feel as a team of women working in the entertainment industry. Whether they're producing, directing, animating, sound engineering, shooting, or editing, the crew has what it takes to make a film and get it released. While bringing their varied skills to a range of projects, they are also dedicated to assembling diverse crews and embracing inclusive practices. This philosophy guides the stories they tell, and in turn, the partners they attract. Their most recent releases include Sofia, which is screened at multiple festivals, as well as the short documentary Bay to Baltimore, an official selection of the Maryland Film Festival, where it had its world premiere. And now we're joined in studio with half of the Boob Sweat Collective. Samantha, Camila, welcome to When Creatives Thrive. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
So first I wanted to start with, obviously, Boob Sweat. Let's start from the beginning. Can you tell me, what is the Boob Sweat Collective? How did it all come together?
You're way better at telling the story than I am. So it's got to be you.
Okay, sure. Yes. So Boob Sweat began when we were in grad school at MICA. We were working on a project for one of our co-founders, Amani Lee, where we were filming a short film in a house that had no air conditioning and it was 100 degrees. And it turned out like the whole crew was mostly female.
Okay.
And the cast was all female, I believe. And just like the whole weekend we were shooting, we were talking about boob sweat, like our literal boob sweat. And it just sort of became a symbol for like how good it felt to work as a team of women on a set, which is pretty rare, I think, in the film industry.
Yeah.
So that was how that term began. And then when we graduated from MICA, the four of us, Camila, myself, Amani, and Makari, we co-founded this production company called Boob Sweat.
See why she has to tell it?
It's a good story, though. I mean, it's objectively a good story. So is everybody involved in like every project that happens? How does a collective of four people work?
Well, the dream initially was to be a production company and to function like a production company.
Okay.
But life happens. People take jobs. And we all work individually and we have our own separate projects. And then for our own projects, we do come together. Not everyone is involved at all times. Everybody ends up seeing it. So with Bay to Baltimore, even though I don't think Imani played any, she wasn't any of the like bigger roles. She did watch a lot of the cuts and was there for a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Right. It's super important.
Right.
Yeah. And Makari ended up doing some of the animation on it. She's an animator.
Mm-hmm.
So we all have different, strengths and areas that we focus on. I do a lot of producing. Camila also does a lot of sound things. So if it's not a project that we are directly, creatively directing, we can chip in other ways, like how Makari did the animation on Bay to Baltimore, or Amani does a lot of editing on some of the music videos that we produce. So yeah, things we chip in as.
Mm-hmm. As we can,
Yeah.
as we go.
That sounds good. I mean, it sounds like a pretty organic situation where you're just playing to each other's strengths. And I guess it just starts to feel like muscle memory a little bit, like, oh yeah, this person will do this person will do that. And filmmaking, I think, at least in my experience, can be sort of an overwhelming task because there are so many people involved. So it's really great, I think, when you do find like a crew, right? But are there any difficulties that come
Hell
with...
yeah.
Like what? Like what?
Different opinions.
Hmm.
Different opinions. Like, and if it's, for example, right now, we are, we don't drop a lot of merch, but sometimes we have like a little hat or a little beanie, or like right now we're working on a sweatshirt. People have been asking forever for Boob Sweat sweatshirts. And just to try to get everybody to agree on one design can be, oh, but I prefer this color. Or what if this said this way instead of this? No, I disagree. I don't think that's correct. This way would be better. And it's just,
Yeah. And I think that that's like a perfect example of why, you know, with the projects that we do, like not all four of us can have equal say on how the story gets told or the
Right.
sausage gets made.
Sure.
So, you know, we come in as interests and specialties, you know, dictate.
Yeah.
But it has been actually really organic to see, you know, how things get distributed, I think.
This kind of test of collective egos, though, like that's pretty interesting to me. I mean, my experience is that a film set can often kind of feel like or behaves more like an autocracy than a democracy. Like there's somebody who's the director and everybody else sort of falls in line. But is that something that comes into play, like multiple points of view, like even on a shoot day? Like how does that work?
I don't think so, because I think by the time that we get to the shoot day, we've worked out those kinks.
We try to, you know, talk through any creative or logistical problems before we get there. And then once we're on set, it's like, yes, it may be one person who's calling the shots, but that's because, you know, a lot of thought went into what those shots are.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say before you mentioned it is it sounds like that's really great communication, right? Like, is that something that you've had to build over time working with each other, or is that something that just right out of the gate, like you all just...
It's a process, I think, just based on personality. And I think Makari and I are two very strong-minded individuals.
Okay.
And I think Samantha and Imani are a little bit more like calm, cool, and collected.
Okay.
And I think whenever there was discourse and Makari and I were quick to say our opinions, I think there was a little bit of working through like, okay, maybe I should hold back on how fast I say my opinions, and maybe I should give space for Samantha and Imani to say how they feel too. And I won't speak for you, but I will speak for you. I feel like there was a little bit of like feeling like this is a safe space to be able to share before, you know, always like sharing your opinion first. I think it's just a personality thing.
Mm.
Yes, and also in terms of like clarity of communication or just like good communication in general, I think, you know, I mean, we have a very active group chat.
Very.
So we're just constantly in communication about everything. I mean, even, you know, Camila and I are texting constantly about...
Yeah, we text
things.
by ourselves. We text in the group chat. We text, like, there's so many options. We email.
Like email threads.
Yeah.
This just sounds like a family. You've basically become a family.
Yeah.
Super cool. I wanted to read something that I found on your website and get a reaction from you. Boob Sweat came to signify the empowerment we felt as a team of women on set. The empowerment continues into the content of the work that we choose to be a part of as well. It is our firm belief that people who cannot be seen cannot be represented, therefore they cannot be remembered. What was it that drove this like initial spirit of empowerment and kind of continues to drive it?
Well, the last line that you read there was...
Oh, you're about to...
paraphrased from Camila's Micah...
graduation speech.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it sounds like something that is very personal to you that you continue to sort of live in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a small town in Brazil, like the type of town that people whisper the word lesbian. So, you know, like representation for me has always been like a big thing.
Right.
And I grew up playing football, soccer, playing with boys. So I've always been in very like highly male-dominated spaces. And I mean, I didn't have bad experience. Yeah, some of them were shit faces, but like overall, I didn't have a bad experience. But when it came to tournament, I couldn't play. So I wasn't necessarily like a part of the team.
Yeah.
So like I've always craved a space where I could have my girls, you know, that I could hang out and do that thing with women. And, you know, we strive to continue bringing that to the sets that we work on, both behind the camera and in front of the camera. That's not to say that we don't work with different groups of people, male, female, different races, different backgrounds. We just, my career in the film industry too started as a diversity hire. Like there were many, many sets that I walked into and I was like, there's only white people here.
Yeah.
And so like we've always been keen on mixing people together because best ideas come in collaboration, in our opinion.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's not just the right thing to do, like the quality of the work actually becomes more complex.
For sure, because, too, like as much as we want to say, or I will only speak for myself here because I don't know how Sam feels about this, or I don't even know how the group feels about this, but as much as I want to say I am pro-women all the time, I've also had my heart broken for amazing colleagues that were female, that identify as women. Right. And I've had my back and I've had the biggest of allies in some white males, which, we love to drag down like in 2025. Right. So it always depends. I am big on mixing up people, and you're going to find your tribe and they might not look like how you expect them to be. And as much as I preach and as much as the collective preaches female, 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 I also like to acknowledge that over the years we've had fantastic allies and they've looked in a variety of ways and identified, in a multitude of genders too.
It doesn't sound like you have like a no boys allowed clause. Like it's more highbrow than that. You're not just making these generalizations. It's like what works best for the crew at that particular point in time. It's also based like, it seems like on the person, like who you want to work with, just knowing who they are, what kind of energy they bring to the set. Like it's not just cut and dry.
We're not going to say we're an all women's club and exclude all men because we have support from like a variety of people. And I've always found it silly. Oh, these people don't agree with my opinions. Let's kick them out the table. The world doesn't work that way. Like, I don't agree with you. What you said, it's how you feel.
Yeah.
I respect it, and we can work together, or we can't for whatever.
I just wanted to say also that I think like Boob Sweat as a brand, I think is pretty like self-selecting on the people who want to have something produced by Boob Sweat or want to work with that. And I think that like, as we were talking, like the men who are sort of a part of the greater Boob Sweat community, like they're repping the Boob Sweat merch, whatever.
Right.
Like they're proud to be part of like Boob Sweat, knowing what it is. And like, yeah, I think that speaks to the general vibes that we try to bring together.
Yeah, it seems like Boob Sweat is kind of like a bat signal. Like you're just putting it out there and you're like, this is who we are. This is what we do. Like if you look up into the sky and you see the Boob Sweat, signal, and you want to come hang, like
come hang.
Yeah. And speaking of which, I wanted to just touch upon, because I think language has so much power. Like what are the kinds of reactions that you get from people? Like if you're at a screening and they don't know who you are and you're just shaking hands, hey, I'm with Boob Sweat. And they're like, Boob Sweat? Like, I imagine you get some weird looks. What's it like?
I mean, that was a concern that we had when we were first coming up with the company name. Do we want something that's more serious? Do we want something that blends in a little bit better? And we all collectively decided that actually, if somebody doesn't want to work with us because of the name of the company, we actually don't want to work with them either.
Right.
So,
and we've actually found the opposite to be true, is that some people will want to work with us mostly because of the name.
Right.
They're like, oh, this sounds interesting. Let me read what these folk are about.
It's a statement. I think it's a statement. Like, and in some ways it's helpful too. It's like you're making, I think, your intentions clear. Like we're cool with our name. We're also not ashamed of maybe like some of the implications, because it's not like we don't use sweat in other ways, like in common conversation. Like I was just thinking before the interview, like we say things like sweat equity, or we say like blood, sweat, and tears. But then when sweat gets like paired with boobs, somehow it's like, whoa. I don't know about that. And you're like, yeah, but I think it's kind of a double standard, don't you?
Yes. And I wanted to also mention that you asked before about, people's reactions when we're at a screening or something, and having just done this at a couple festivals. And I forgot to get business cards, but as I was like talking to people and I said the name, they're like, oh yeah, I'll remember that.
Yeah, exactly. It
People
actually
fucking love it.
Yeah, right. But did it take some level? It seems like it maybe took a certain level of, you have to kind of internalize it, or you have to get past it on your own before you're willing to sort of step out and say, hey, we're Boob Sweat.
Yeah, I mean, I think at one point I was a little bit worried that it would preclude us from being able to work with more serious companies.
Yeah. What does that sort of mean, though? When you think of a serious company, what's a serious company?
Or like getting on TV or something.
Really?
Which is something that is now happening.
Yeah, Beta Baltimore MPT is
Really?
going to be releasing this April 2026. So.
Okay.
So that was one of the fears that I had, was that like having this name attached to it would mean that they would, shy away from picking up our work. And that didn't prove to be true.
Okay, so Beta Baltimore, let's talk a little bit more about it, right? So that's maybe not the very latest release, but one of a few recent releases that's come out of Boob Sweat.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get going on some of the behind the scenes stuff, could you give us sort of the elevator pitch, the log line of what is Beta Baltimore for those who aren't aware?
Beta Baltimore is a short documentary film that Camila and I co-directed, and it follows Katie Pumphrey, who is a Baltimore-based fine artist and ultra marathon swimmer.
Mm.
And she, last year, made the swim 24 miles from the Chesapeake Bay Bridge to the Inner Harbor. And the film follows not only that swim, but the preparation and sort of her mental space as she was getting ready to both do this really difficult physical challenge, but also the statement she was trying to make with doing that swim, which, was to celebrate progress of cleanliness in the Inner Harbor. And she was met with a lot of online vitriol from Baltimoreans who did not want to celebrate, this achievement with her.
Yeah, we have had Katie on the podcast. She's awesome.
Agreed.
So how did this whole project get started? Like, how did you connect with Katie? How did you find out that she was doing this ultramarathon swim? Like, what's the genesis of the project?
She wrote to us, right? Didn't she connect with us?
Really? So she
Yeah.
reached out.
Mm-hmm.
So she saw the Boob Sweat sign in the night sky, and
Correct.
okay, wow.
Yeah.
She's
That's awesome.
definitely one of the ones who was like, oh yeah, Boob Sweat, that's what I want.
That's
super
fucking
cool.
dope. Yeah.
That is super cool. Okay, so you connect with Katie, you hear a little bit more about the project. What's the sort of, do you bring it back to the collective? Is there sort of a, will they, won't they period of time? Or was it like from the get-go, oh yeah, we're doing this?
Well, there was a little bit, there was always like, we're doing this.
Okay.
But initially when she wrote to us, she wanted the coverage of her swim. That's what she wanted. She wanted us to film the swim so she could have that record for herself.
Okay, so not necessarily a documentary or something that had like a story to it. It's just, I need visual.
Yeah, and then we were like, wait a minute.
Yeah, right?
This is a great story.
Yeah. Like, what a missed opportunity if
Right.
it just ends up, a camera on a boat, like waving to her in the water.
Mm-hmm.
We met with her. They did it in Samantha and her, because Samantha is the one who loves, is married to documentary filmmaking. Not married, but like that's her like baby out of
In a
the four
close
of us.
relationship
She's
with
the
it,
one
yeah.
that like documentary is her shit.
Okay.
So she took, what is it, the reins? Is that the expression? She took the reins.
I took a phone call.
took a phone call with Katie, and then they discussed it. She was the one to first speak with Katie.
Okay.
And there was like this understanding that Sam is gonna direct this. Initially, I think I was kind of pushing for it to be a feature documentary. I think we talked about that a little bit, but we would have had to meet with her sooner in order to be able to do that. We would have had to be following her a lot longer.
Okay. You didn't really have the runway that you needed.
No,
Okay.
no. Like when did she write to us initially?
I'm not sure, exactly, but so originally she's supposed to be doing her swim in May of that year, and she reached out to us in maybe like
It was less than 6
March.
months.
Okay.
February. Like it was just earlier that year.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a ton of time to film with her, and she is a very busy person.
Yeah.
So
I know that after they had the initial phone call and nobody hated each other, we just like we went into her studio a couple weeks later and
Yeah.
kind of did the first round of filming
Oh, wow.
just to kind of vibe it out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Let's see what each other is about.
Yeah.
And I mean, up until that point, I had never, of course it's a thing, just like marathon running is a
Right.
thing, but I had never heard about ultramarathon swimmers. Well, that's not true because the movie Naiad had come out and I had watched it maybe 2 weeks before.
Right.
Yeah.
It was right around the same time.
And that
so-
she wrote to us.
Mhm.
And I was like, whoa, I finally know what this is.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like a novelty. I was like, I didn't think that I'd ever meet somebody that actually does this thing. And then she wrote it and she was like, yeah, I'm gonna do 24 miles. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, like
Well, kind of seems like a perfect pairing too. And I didn't realize this until I spoke to Katie recently, but that there is this history of females kicking ass doing these ultramarathon swims.
yeah.
So I'm assuming that's why she reached out. My next question is like, what was that production process like? Like, were you on the boat with her? Were you in the water with her? Or was there any discussion about like those kind of complications? Because it's a tough swim to begin with.
The swim itself, I think we shot, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 days before the swim. Is that right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So, and those were just like in and out, like quick little shoots, like an
Yeah.
interview here or like following her in her studio or whatever. But for the swim itself, which was definitely going to be like the most grueling
Yeah.
of production days, Camila will have to speak to because I was not there.
Samantha was super pregnant. So what happened is the day of the swim was going to be a certain date. And then the key bridge collapsed.
Yeah.
And they pushed it. And we were trying to figure out when was going to be the new date. And we had hopes. We ended up co-directing because she was like, I have to step away. And I said, absolutely not. Like, we're not giving this to somebody else. Like, I'll do until you feel like you can come back. I'll take over.
Wow.
And then you come back.
I did not know that.
And
Yeah, because the dates that she did end up pushing it to was actually my due date.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I was
So-
like, we cannot have you on the fucking boat. That's crazy.
I didn't want to give birth on the water.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which, based on how my birth went, like it would have been on the water. But
I did not know this. Wow.
yeah,
That's pretty powerful, right? It's not just that you all like maybe see eye to eye from like a creative point of view and you work well together. It's like life happens, right? And I'm willing to come on board and make sure that like we can see it through.
We've helped each other before. Sam has produced, and until she tells me never again, she will produce everything that I do. And if she needs my help with anything on the sound department side of things,
Yeah.
too, I've always been there. But we had never co-directed anything,
Oh.
so it was. And I don't know if it would have worked if we had come together from the beginning because we have
Really?
different opinions, and we can both. More me be very strongly opinionated, and it's just I think the people who you have to have a system to co-direct together.
Yeah.
So the way that it happened is actually she had to step away. I came on, and then once she came back, I stepped away.
Oh, interesting.
The only process that we truly did together was editorial.
Mhm.
Everything else, when she was directing, I was helping in a different function, and vice versa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That sounds like a great partnership.
It worked.
and I do think that came from us coming into this project, and we have differences of opinion on some things, but we both I think strongly felt what the story was.
Yeah.
So that sort of was
That
the
made it
mind
easy.
melt. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super
The concerns were the same. The priorities were the same. Like, if we disagreed, it was like, I don't know. I don't feel like we should shoot it this way. Let's shoot it this way,
cool. Yeah.
It wasn't like anything major, life-changing.
Well, sometimes that can be a thing,
yeah.
but it sounds like you were able to work through it.
Yeah.
I think so. We're still here.
You know what? I know so because fast forward, so Beta Baltimore just recently had its world premiere, correct, at the Maryland Film Festival, which is huge.
Yes.
I'd say that's probably the biggest film festival in the state and like one of the bigger ones in the region,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. It was really exciting.
So what was that like? Did you have friends, family in attendance? Was this like kind of a dream come true?
My family doesn't understand what I do.
Really? Okay.
They do not support it.
Okay.
Oh.
They don't support it.
Well, they don't support it in the way that like you made a film, congratulations, that's awesome. They don't get it.
Really?
You know, they find it a little bit more interesting when I work with famous actors. That part they get because it's tangible. They've seen them on TV. To them, that's a little bit more interesting. But
is that? I'm assuming it's kind of a bummer.
I don't care. Like it's just like I don't get the entire part of their job either. You know, like like my father's an engineer. Do I understand everything that he does? No.
Okay, so it sounds like you're at peace with it, maybe.
Yeah, it's fine. There's no like you shouldn't be doing this. Like they support it as like we love you and we are here for you. They just don't get it.
But you had your Boob Sweat family.
Had my Boob Sweat family.
Yes.
I actually, unfortunately, couldn't be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Camila was not there in person. She was there
in spirit, maybe.
Receiving my like panicked
Live
texts.
texting.
Just like my body shut down.
Really?
In the theater. No, just nervous.
Really? What were the nerves about?
Because we have clearly watched the film so many times, so I
could
knew
probably
what I was
recite
going to
it.
see.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen it, in a room full of people I didn't know. But it was a excellent premiere. The room was full of, a lot of our friends and family, a lot of Katie's friends and family, a lot of the people who were in the film were there. We were in a block of shorts called Maryland Marvels.
Oh, that's cool.
And all of the shorts featured, Marylanders doing cool shit. So
wow.
We were in really good company
Yeah.
with the other films, and it was a really awesome experience.
That's super cool. And was there a standing ovation? How did it end? Was there a cool Q&A or anything after the screening?
Yeah, there were Q&As. There were 2 screenings, and I will say, during one of the screenings where it was a lot of Katie's team from the actual swim, that was really cool to watch it with them because they had been there on the boat with us and they had really, been along for that journey. And when Katie touches the wall to finish in the film, the people who were on the boat with her, like they all like jumped up and cheered. Like that wasn't the end of the film, but like they really felt it because they were there.
Yeah,
that's so.
And
awesome.
everybody cried.
Yeah,
because I was on the boat and I remember looking around. And there's this moment on the film where the captain looks at the camera and says, "I'm Italian. I might cry," and everybody there cried.
Yeah,
it was just so emotional because it wasn't just that she was finishing this thing, because that's already huge on its own.
Right.
But there was a crowd over there waiting for her.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a lot of love and support, and people were like, "Katie, Katie, Katie," and that was beautiful to witness.
Yeah, paint that picture because I've seen pictures. I wasn't there in person, but like, where did that energy come from? Like, what were you feeling there when you had your cameras rolling?
So at the beginning of the swim, and it's dark. She starts in the middle of the night, and you just don't. I mean, that there's a mission and we're headed, but until you can actually see the harbor and you're like, oh shit, we are here.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, we are headed this way. We'll get there when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start to get there, and then there's people joining. There's Mr. Trash Wheel. There's a bunch. There's a bunch of kayakers.
Wow.
There's news on helicopters.
Oh my God.
And everything's coming together. And it just feels louder, even though it's the same. And then as you're approaching, you start to hear people cheering her on. And I can hear everything that's happening. There were 2 boats, the primary boat and then the secondary boat. I was on the secondary boat. Jake, who DP'd the swim, and Corey, who was our sound mixer on the swim, they both were on the other boat. But we could communicate and I could hear everything. And you could just hear the captain and Joe talking. And the captain being like, "Joe, just let me know when to blow the horn." And it's just like quiet. And you're just hearing the people cheer. And then everybody's crying. Everybody's like wiping their tears. Because we know she's gonna finish. Like we're here. She's gonna finish. And it was just like very exciting. It's one of those moments that it feels like things slow down, even though they're playing at the exact same speed that they normally do.
Mm-hmm.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool that you got to capture that.
I mean, I personally wasn't there, but
Sure.
I do feel like, in editing that scene
Yeah.
and, watching it hundreds of times.
Yeah.
I mean, I cry most times. Like, it really does hit.
Yeah. I'm also curious if you can clue us into the Baltimore film community as a whole. Is there maybe one word or sort of one something that you can tie to help describe what the people in the local area are like to somebody who hasn't worked with them before?
Exceptional.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I work a lot as a crew member, and, we have a lot of talent in Baltimore. And Baltimore is underestimated in everything, and I think in film too. But we have fantastic technicians, fantastic producers, fantastic directors. You just got to keep making stuff here. Just got to keep pumping money into the state to be able to make stuff. And then you can see. I think there's actually a speech by the mayor on the film that people keep saying that we can't in Baltimore, and then we come around and we say that we do. And I think it's because of it that Baltimore has become my chosen home. Is the first city in the U.S. that feels like home to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Samantha, what do you think?
I mean, of course I agree with that. I also think that the filmmakers in Baltimore are just like really creative, really scrappy. Like, there's a certain drive to make things, and people, they'll find a way to make it. They have stories to tell, and I think it's really inspiring.
Hey, so I heard that you also worked on the Go Outside collection. I wasn't aware of this. Can you tell me a little bit more about not just like what it is, but also how you got involved with it?
So this was a initiative from Storyblocks, which is a stock footage website. They reached out to us to put together a collection of stock footage.
Okay.
For their initiative to increase diversity in stock footage. So to show people in various scenarios, but who represented different races, different genders, different abilities. And we put together a collection of stock footage that all focused on people enjoying themselves outside, all around Baltimore.
What is the state, though, of stock footage libraries? Can you, like, if I log on right now, can you tell me what I'm mostly going to find?
It's predominantly, white, I would say. I've purchased a fair amount of stock footage in my corporate video days, and when you search for things, the top results are mostly going to be white, or whatever the stereotypical gender would be for whatever the thing you're searching for is.
Why do you think that is?
I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier about film and filmmakers, right? Like, people like to see themselves. They're used to seeing themselves. Do I think there was an evil empire of white people sitting down and deciding we must exclude everybody else when we make those choices? No. Sometimes it does feel that way, though. But it's just like in their minds, the people that I know that do these things look like this.
Right.
So let me make a collection representing the things that I know. And they just don't know something different.
Yeah, and it's super powerful too, because if you were saying like you're doing corporate work or whatever, and that's what's available, then that narrative is reinforced. And that's like any kind of bad habit. Like I think it's hard to break sometimes. So it's super cool that Storyblocks reached out. Did they ever give any kind of indication of like how they found you, or what drew you two together?
I think that they were looking for, and you might know more about this because you know some of the other companies that were a part of this initiative as well. But I think they were looking for companies like in this geographic area more so, and looking for companies that were themselves more diverse.
Right.
So, and I think that speaks to, if you have a diverse group of voices who are putting together a project, it will result in something on screen that reflects that.
I know you all have also had some pretty extensive experience doing music videos. Has that become like a niche, kind of a calling card? And who have you worked with recently that we might know?
We have done music videos with Micah E. Wood, Perfume Genius,
Ammonite, Memo Talk, Shay. I think her stage name is now Butter. And Shay is also a part of Memo Talk.
And are these local for the most part? Bands?
Almost everybody.
Really?
Ammonite is based in DC, so they're a DC band. But
Perfume Genius is not local.
Perfume Genius is definitely not local, and that's all Samantha. That's all Sam's doing. But there's Micah. Micah is local. Memo Talk is local, and so is Shay.
And are you music fans, or was this just...
God, we hate music. No.
Is there a specific genre that you're kind of drawn to, or how does that work out?
I don't know if it's a specific genre, but I do think that as a genre of film, music videos allow for a certain amount of experimentation and trying things out because it's such a short duration, the video itself, that you can really, get a little wild.
Yeah, you can get weird with it for sure.
Yeah. So I think it's just, it's a really fun creative exercise.
That's super cool. And are you normally pitched with a certain prompt, or a person comes to you and says I want it to be this, or I want it to be that? Or is it hey, here's a song, what do you all have in mind? Maybe it's a combination of the two.
I think those might be different answers from the two of us. So
it's
you
been
can go
different.
first.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, here we go. This is what I'm here for.
Yeah. So I guess of these, I'm thinking of, I think there's maybe 6 of the music videos between the two of us specifically.
Mm-hmm.
We've each directed 3.
Okay. Sounds about right.
Yeah. So for the ones that I have done, I did 2 with Micah Wood, who is a friend of mine and, approached me as a friend. And he had maybe a general sense of what he wanted the video to be and some resources that he thought would be cool for it. One of them was a video where there was a ghost dancing, and he was I have someone who can design the ghost costume.
I have a ghost.
I have a ghost.
In my basement.
There was that collaboration, and then I would sort of come back to him with a little bit more of what the beats would be of the video, what it would look like. And then with the Perfume Genius video, this was early days of the pandemic, and he put out a call for proposals for music videos, and I submitted a pitch deck. He had the song, but he didn't have any kind of story or
blank
anything.
slate, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I am in that music video.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Dancing. I'm a horrible dancer. But anything for Sam.
You're one of the best parts of that video. Actually, I watched that video the other day, and it was early days of the pandemic, so it's been a while since I had watched it.
I am not a better dancer since
I was putting together our reel, but
how do you feel about that early work today?
It had been so long since I had watched it, but it really captured a time,
in space.
Yeah. Because the concept for that video was that it was all of these different people who were dancing the same dance, but they were in their own homes, and I was shooting them through their windows.
Okay.
So I worked with a choreographer, and I interviewed everyone to talk to them about, something that they had done recently that they were proud of, or that made them happy.
Right.
And she turned that into these bespoke choreography for each person, and then did a group choreography. So I've got a split screen of 8 people doing the same dance at once, through their own windows.
That's super cool.
And it was a very it was just me and a ladder.
Me and a ladder.
Trying to get up in people's windows. It was very low crew. But I'm really proud of that, actually.
There you
looking
go.
back on it, because it really just captured a really specific part of the pandemic where we all felt really isolated.
Yeah.
And this brief moment of doing something creatively.
Mm.
Well, listen, it's been awesome chatting with you all. I'm curious, what is next for Boob Sweat? And there may be individual answers to this, but are there any other kinds of stories, local sort of Baltimore-driven stories that you're interested in telling, or what's next?
We can't tell everybody that. We have our secrets. No, we always have projects in the making. Beta Baltimore just started its festival run.
Oh, cool.
We have Sofia that was generously supported by the South Ends Innovation Fund, and they are a foundation. And from my understanding, they pick projects through cycles. Every year is a different cohort. That Sofia is the first time that I personally received a grant to be able to do a project of mine. However, in previous years, we've worked in a multitude of projects that have also received their funding.
Oh, wow. Sounds like they've been very, very helpful, though. Not just with you, but it sounds like the local community, making sure films are made.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that is a huge part of their mission, is just to give direct funding to filmmakers in Baltimore to tell stories in Baltimore.
I'm developing a couple of feature films in the narrative space, and Sam is always sharing ideas about documentaries.
We are also pretty deeply involved in 2 feature films that are in post-production right now.
Oh, cool.
Correct.
Which will hopefully be released soon-ish.
Well, again, congratulations on Beta Baltimore. Sofia as well, doing the festival rounds.
Yes.
Thank you all so much for being here, and hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was fun.
A big thanks to Samantha and Camilla for joining us, and thanks to you for listening. Remember, if you're a creative person with a story to share, reach out at srustin@promotionandarts.org to be featured on the pod. And as always, when creatives thrive, we all rise.